You know Elon Musk for being, well, Elon Musk. And you probably know Amber Heard from that courtroom drama that took over the entire internet. But did you know these two chaotic humans actually dated? One biographer called it the most agonizing relationship of Elon's life, a dark vortex that lasted more than a year and produced a deep-seated pain that lingers to this day. Two people who really do match each other's freak. Was it love? Was it chaos? Was there cosplay involved? Unfortunately, yes. So how did Amber Heard and Elon Musk go from red carpet run-ins to full-blown emotional spiral? And do they actually have secret children together? If you're new here, hi, I'm Evie. It's very nice to meet you, and you should totally subscribe because we do 5 videos a week on whatever's going on with very interesting people, very interesting topics, billionaire dramas, and whatever else is happening. And we do quite like to occasionally roast Elon Musk. Okay, we do it all the time. Amber Heard says her friendship with Elon Musk kicked off in the most Hollywood way possible after being stood up at the Met Gala by her then-husband, Johnny Depp. So here's the scene. It's May 7, 2016, just a couple of weeks after what both Amber and Johnny Depp described as an explosive fight, the kind of argument that ends relationships and in their case makes headlines. They were still technically married, but Johnny had apparently ghosted her. She described her solo Met vibes in meeting Elon. I was standing in line, right in front of a gentleman. It was Elon. I didn't recognize him until we started talking. He has reminded me that we had met once before when he was with his mother. And yeah, she really didn't know Johnny Depp wasn't coming. Like, I didn't believe it at first. But his team had gone full Fort Knox on communication. She had heard nothing. So she was just all dressed up in that hotel, waiting around. So I ended up going by myself. I sat next to an empty place setting for Johnny that they cleared as soon as we realized he effectively stood me up on the red carpet. Ouch. Nothing like missing an ex and a cleared dinner plate to really set the mood for some bad decisions, am I right? She said of Elon, he seemed like a real gentleman. He sat at a nearby table and we got to speaking that night and eventually became friends. Your friends who were later seen in places like Miami, London, and Australia, buddies. Now the timeline in general is a little fuzzy depending who you ask. Amber and Johnny's divorce was finalized in January of 2017, but by that time, rumors of her and Elon were already swirling. Elon insists they didn't start seeing each other until May 2016, and even then it was just infrequent. The romantic part apparently came later. And like personally, I don't know, I wasn't there, but knowing what I know about both of them, I don't know if I believe it. By April 2017, they became Instagram official, and in May, Elon, who famously never takes time off, was vacationing in Australia with Amber and his kids. So yeah, it escalated. Their early dates, if you can call flying to a car factory a date, mostly revolved around work. Amber would jet off to the Tesla factory in California to surprise Elon on his birthday, as one does, and he'd drop by the Aquaman set in Australia like it was no big deal. But beneath the billion-dollar schedules and superhero costumes, these two apparently bonded over their shared love of all things nerdy. I guess I could be called a geek for someone who can also be called a hot chick, Amber once said, which is so giving. I'm not like other girls. Whatever. You can be hot and like games. Like, it's not that weird. Sorry, it's a personal issue for me. Elon was all about it though. At one point, he spent 2 months designing and commissioning a full head-to-toe costume for Amber so that she could roleplay as Mercy from Overwatch, his favorite video game character. And I hate that I know that, I hate that I know that. Some things just shouldn't be public information. But it wasn't all horny Overwatch cosplay and private jets. These two broke up and got back together constantly, and the relationship was turbulent and full of freak shit the entire time. And who's surprised? Neither of these people are known for being chill. The two would have explosive fights, with reports saying they'd be up all night screaming at each other to the point that Elon couldn't get up and be useful until the next afternoon. According to journalist Walter Isaacson, Elon's brother and friends hated Amber with a passion that made their distaste for Justine pale. Elon's chief of staff literally called her the Joker and said she thrives on destabilizing everything. Elon's brother Kimball, well, yeah, he really didn't like Amber. He called her toxic and a nightmare. He said she reminded him of their dad, Elon Musk, which, if you've seen my video about him, is probably the worst thing Kimball could say about anyone. He had this to say about Elon's dating habits. It's really sad that he falls in love with these people who are really mean to him. They're beautiful, no question, but they have a very dark side, and Elon knows they are toxic. And that is not all from Kimball. He shared details of how toxic things really were inside the relationship, saying he witnessed one of their fights at a hotel where Amber locked herself in a room and started yelling that she was afraid she would be attacked and that Elon had taken her passport. Kimball said, "She really is a very good actress, so she will say things that you're like, wow, maybe she's telling you the truth, but she isn't." When Elon and Amber called it quits in the summer of 2017, things got rough. According to Walter Isaacson, it kicked off what Elon would later describe as the most hellacious period of his life, both emotionally and professionally. And to be fair, the man was going through it. Not only had his relationship just imploded, but he also found out that his dad, Elon Musk, had fathered a child with his own stepdaughter, Yana, a woman Errol had raised since she was a kid, who Elon saw as a sister. Like I said, you should watch my video on this dude. He is something else. Elon summed it up in a very sort of classic Elon fashion, describing the relationship as an 18 months of unrelenting insanity that was mind-bogglingly painful. Oof, big ouch. Elon spent his birthday in June 2018 trying to hit an impossible deadline to churn out 5,000 cars per week. He was knee-deep in Tesla factory chaos, wrestling with bottlenecks in the paint shop, whatever else he does there, when Amber called to wish him a happy birthday. Right after the call, apparently, he dropped his phone and it broke, so he was not in a good mood. Honestly, same. Like, we've all been there. Your weird ex call you on your birthday. It's like, what more do you want from me? Why are you doing this? This was never gonna end in a white picket fence and PTA meetings. But weirdly, it kinda did. Because, like, guess what? They're friends now, right? The two seem to be amicable. Elon posted on Instagram at the time of their split. Although Amber and I did break up, we are still friends, remain close, and love one another. Long-distance relationships when both partners have intense work obligations are always difficult, but who knows what the future holds. In the end, it's hard to say what's more unbelievable, the cosplay, the chaos, or the fact that they're still on good terms. Amber remains controversial, but honestly, if I was that good looking, I don't know. I don't know how I'd be acting. I don't know how much I'd be acting out. I don't know. It's a lot of power. Two people who matched each other's freak until they didn't. R.I.P. Elon and Amber Heard. If you like this video, check out my full rundown of all of Elon's millions of kids with his millions of baby mamas. It's so much crazier than you think. And I'm really not exaggerating. Bye!